Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel The Truth Hurts. Today I'm going to be discussing red flag number 156, communication versus the silent treatment. Communication, the imparting or interchange of thoughts, opinions, or information by speech or writings. When you met your monster, there was an open communication between you two of each other wants and desires. But as time went by, they either shut down or you found out they were lying. One of the things that tortures a survivor is not knowing what happened. After the narcissistic discard, the narcissist just disappears and walks away, leaving you in shock. Most of the time, we won't get an answer from them, and only they, whoever left us stranded with 1,000 question marks, know the real deal. Maybe they mean what they say, even if it doesn't seem like the whole truth to us. The tragic event leaves you with the number one question of all time. What the hell happened? Now, after the event, the gaslighting kicks in. Gaslighting is when you turn your thoughts inward and start blaming yourself, thinking you did something wrong. You start thinking, did I say something I shouldn't have said? Did I do something I shouldn't have done? Did I not do something I should have done? And other times, something wrong did occur. But that's not the reason for the treatment. That's your narc capitalizing on the situation. This is called manipulation. Manipulation is when someone gets you to do something by making you feel guilty. Example, when I wrecked Lilith's car, I felt horrible. Even someone that's presently reading my book said, and I quote, I read about the accident and the tremendous shift in the direction of your relationship. From there, I can feel your panic and pain. Lilith was quick to tell everyone I wrecked her car, in which most assholes told her, of course, get rid of him. When she asked me to leave, I left quickly and quietly the next day. When she asked me to come back, I replaced the car with a better one. But she didn't want to tell anyone. I had to force her to tell her sister. Now she's telling people, well, look who ended up with the car. I still have it because I had no intentions of giving it to her. But what she's not telling people is she declined taking the car because she didn't want the extra payments. What I was supposed to do, leave the car with her while she don't make the payments and the car is in my name? Later on, I found out the car wreck wasn't the sole reason for the breakup. Another man on the mind was the sole reason. This is what you call a mind fuck. My monster made me believe wrecking her car is what destroyed the engagement. The real deal? She was seeing two men at the same time. The real deal is you didn't do anything wrong. Think about it. Think back. I'm certain you all asked your narc to speak with you, to discuss what's going wrong between you two. I'm also certain that you begged your narc to speak with you, and all you got was a silent treatment. That made you feel worse than what you were already feeling. One particular night, I was pleading with Lilith to talk to me. I pleaded with my soul. You know when the relationship is done, when you are face to face with them, and you give them, and they give you the most disgusted look and clenched teeth when they say, get the fuck out of my face. Red flag. If you try to reach out to the narcissist for communication, trying harder, being more submissive, letting them have their way, They will only see you as weak and sadly repulsive as well. And because of this, the abuse will only get worse. Run! Red flag! The only thing you can do at this point is give them more space. The more you press them is the more distant they will become. No contact. If they truly want to start some dialogue, they will contact you. Until then, you can't let your life stop. Run! Lilith will continue. You're a narcissist, you know that? You're self-centered. You don't care about no one but yourself. Red flag! This is gaslighting. Insidious manipulative abuse by giving subtle hints and comments that results in the victim questioning their own behavior and thoughts. Run! Red flag! This is projection, a defense mechanism in which the narcissist ejects aggressive, negative feelings and thoughts of themselves onto another person. Run! This bitch got all the nerve. Begs me to come and live with her. Cheats on me. Being self-centered by not wanting to explain her behavior. But I'm the narcissistic one. Do you see how dangerous these monsters are? I'll tell you why they get silent on you. They're cheating. This is the behavior of someone who doesn't want you asking any questions because you are putting them on the spot and you're getting too close to the truth. Remember, the truth hurts. This is what this channel is about. The fact that they can't give you a satisfying answer without exposing themselves at the same time. So they give you the silent treatment to protect themselves. They instantly turn into lawyers and they plead the fifth to decline to give in self-incriminating information. Refers to the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which states that no citizen shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. Selfish cowards like the narcissists believe it's nicer not to flat out say they are seeing someone else, or it's better to just walk away without an explanation. In reality, all they're doing is further harm to the one they claim they love. It's crueler to leave a person wondering what happened than it is to tell them the truth. Now that I told you why they acted the way they did, now I'm going to tell you what happened. They liked you from the start. They saw that you had nice things and you were generous to a fault. They thought that they would grow to have more feelings for you than they actually did. But as they continued to spend time together, it became more and more obvious that their feelings wasn't changing or deepening. They felt like they could hold out or suffer through because they didn't want to give up this good person who didn't quite satisfy them, but who fit the image of what they thought they should have in a person. Then as time went by, you would say and do things that would irk their nerves or piss them off. But they either ignored it to keep the peace or because, again, they felt as though they should feel more than they actually felt. This is just one area where the lack of communication is detrimental. Sometimes you have to say what you want, and that's not an easy thing to do for bullshitters. All bullshitters know how to do is lie and deceive. Now here's the kicker, the part where you're not understanding. All of this inner turmoil about you is being bottled up inside them. That's why in the end they began acting differently. And finally, they met someone else. Whether it's an old flame or a new one, who told them exactly what they wanted to hear. And then, like the beginning of any new relationship, they became intrigued and thought they could do better than you. Now, instead of talking to you, they started talking about you to someone that don't give a damn about neither one of you. Then for reinsurance, they spoke to their family members and they told them everything they were unwilling to communicate to you. Red flag! Communication doesn't involve a third party. Run! Now, in all of this, there was something you said and done that was the last straw for the catalyst for the decision to cut their losses. But that in no way, shape, or form places you in the position of blame for the breakup. They met someone else, but they didn't want to just leave you because you were too good to them. Either way, they should have been real with their feelings. If they were losing interest, they should have spoken to you about that. That's what a relationship is about anyway. Communication. The bottom line, they wanted their cake and eat it too. They're going to pretend that they are this ride or die. But ride or die people don't cheat and leave. I know it's hard to understand, but it's not for us to figure out or try to reason with someone who clearly told you, who clearly doesn't want to know what they want. And you wouldn't want to be with a person who is so quick to turn on you, especially when you're seeking a long-term relationship that will lead to marriage. This is a woman who loves sex more than she loves the need of a husband. So this type of woman is only good for side fucks. Don't put your emotions into them. You only screw them when they're in town to visit. You need a strong individual who has a stable mind and who will be there through thick and thin. The most important part of all of this is the lack of communication. They failed on their part. This was a feeling that they had for quite some time. They should have expressed this to you when they first encountered this feeling. This lets you know they weren't dedicated and full of shit. Now, when they do decide to talk, it's still under the Fifth Amendment. They start answering the questions like a 5-year-old preschooler, giving you partial answers. You know how when you tell a child, leave the cookies in the cookie jar alone, and then you leave them for a minute and come back, and you catch them with their arm in the cookie jar, and you ask them, didn't I tell you to leave the cookies alone? They don't just say anything, they just look up at you. That's how they are. It's quite frustrating. These are the games that get people hurt. Oftentimes in relationships can decline or dissipate because there's a failure to communicate or miscommunication. Now, when all of this is said and done, I assure you they will come back to you with more BS. And all of a sudden, they will attempt to tell you their side of the story. At this point, don't listen. It's over with. You don't need to hear nothing they got to say. They didn't want to talk then? Don't let them talk now. Their actions spoke louder than their words. Their actions stated not only did they not love you, but they never loved you. Let's be honest. If it were really true love, do you think it would just drain out of them just like that? Their lack of communication and disrespect for your feelings should be closure enough. I'm not going to try to denote the fact that you might be hurting. But at some point, you have to have some pride. And this is not to let people disrespect you. When Lois sent me her BS text message of I miss you and I'm so terribly sorry, that text message showed she was just playing me for a sucker, which is why I released her nude pics. Had she not sent me that text after she finished telling me to lose her number, after I begged her for closure, those pics would never have been released. Now her family knows she's a hoe. But now the question is, will you be emotionally strong enough to ignore your narc when they return? You still have unanswered questions. Hopefully, when the time comes, you are smart enough to remember their actions and not listen to their justifications. Now, when they don't contact you with their pathetic "I'm sorries," they will pretend they are calling for some property. They are not calling for their property. They're calling to establish communication. They showed you absolutely no respect or regard to your feelings. I'd wash my hands and keep it moving. Keep all lines of communication closed. They're spoiled, selfish users. You'll feel better with not dealing with them at all. Trust me on this. If they manage to reach you with their phony profiles, it's perfectly okay to tell them off. You deserve that opportunity. But then let it be just that. Don't listen to any explanations or anything. Hang up. Once you hang up that phone, don't pick it up again. As for the situation, yes, I can understand your hurt, but ask yourself, would you honestly be able to say hello and have small communication without wanting more? That's the reason why most people stop communicating with someone they used to date, is because it won't make it more complicated. Some people can't accept a high and by from an ex-lover. So that's why they decide to cut the communication altogether. You are still seeking closure, and from what I know, you're going to have to let it go. If you still love them, you love them from a distance. Until you're smart enough to know you don't love them. You loved whom you thought they were, because they have long shown you they are not. Most people want to hurt their narcs. If you want to hurt them, don't talk to them. Sometimes no communication is better than words.